First of all, I don't think I've ever been a drug addict. I wouldn't call it that. No, it's not your fault. It's always like something I said in an interview gets twisted. Um, I've had problems, but mainly it's just my psyche and stuff like that. But I've learned from everything. I've learned from drugs, mistakes with people, good times with people, all these years. I've taken a lot of losses, I've taken a lot of L's, but I got back up and I fell down and I got back up again. And I'm kind of happy I just did this in, my early teens, because I wouldn't want to be 40 chewing pills and, having kids and realizing I had the problem then, or figuring out stuff about myself when I'm that age that I could have done now.
One thing about being in the rap industry is that in order for you to think straight, make good decisions, and even influence your fan base in a slightly positive way, is that you have to have a healthy mind. Or looking back would be a big regret that you wrecked a whole generation, all because you weren't at the right mind space to even be an influencer in the first place. And mostly this has to be done with drugs. Drugs fry the brain so hard that you lose track of your mind, leading to a bad decisions and losing the creative side of music when sober. An example of this is Young Lean. I'm not saying Young Lean lost his mind in his creative aspect, but overall Young Lean, born in Jonathan Aaron Leondor Hastad on July 18th, 1996 in Stockholm, Sweden, is a rapper, singer, and producer known for pioneering the cloud rap and internet-driven underground sound of the 2010s. He spent part of his early childhood in Minsk, Belarus due to his mother's work before the family returned to Sweden, where he grew up in the Södermalm district. His father was a poet and translator, a quiet man who just loved reading, and his mother worked hard, worked in the human rights, and was always the hard worker of the house. So he was raised in a creative, socially aware environment. As a teenager, he developed a deep interest in hip-hop, drawing inspiration from artists like 50 Cent, the Latin Kings, and Nas.
Rap is my first love, and but I always did, rap in my own special way. It wasn't like, okay, now I'm gonna be the best MC. I can never be that. I can never be like, oh, I'm gonna challenge Eminem's way of rapping, or like this like freestyling and like battling. Like it wasn't really that. It was used in a kind of like a punk way of expression, and also it came from me loving hip-hop and like always listening to hip-hop, and it was in my home, and it was
your parents also listen to?
Not my mom. She listens to like a Russian screaming man, like Predroshka, or like this girl, stuff like that.
But your dad, as you were saying, into jazz and hip hop, and where they met.
My dad like Guru, Jazzmatazz. My uncle worked with hip hop, and he worked at MTV for a while in London, and all my friends. It was just.
Yeah, it's what was in there for
it was
people
like the first.
Your age.
It was really the first love.
Lean's musical journey began in 2012 when he met producers like Young Sherman and Young God. Together they formed the Sad Boys Collective, blending dreamy, melodic production with abstract internet-inspired visuals, giving this high feeling. His breakthrough came in 2013 when the music video of Jing Sang, Strip 02, unexpectedly went viral, introducing him to a global audience. That same year, he released his debut mixtape Unknown Death 02, which cemented his place in the emerging cloud rap scene. But
That's true.
Special boys.
Yeah. Damn. When you had finished Unknown Death,
Yeah.
was it like what was it? Cause okay, so you had a Ginseng. I can't fucking
Ginseng
say that.
Strip.
Ginseng Strip,
Yeah, you got it.
and then you had Hurt.
Yeah.
Those were like the top two.
Yeah, they were the hits, and Gatorade as well.
Yeah, Gatorade as
was
well.
a
Yeah,
hit.
that's true.
Yeah.
And then Oreo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oreo milkshake.
Yeah.
Yeah, Hurt was a big hit.
Yeah, I loved Hurt.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Yeah.
How'd you make an album out of that though?
You know, it was like,
With
I had-
with a lot of your projects, when I hear them,
yeah.
some of them sound like they're a bunch of different vibes, kind of like put together.
That one was.
Yeah.
That one was definitely, because I was 16
Right.
and I hadn't even turned. I turned 17 the day like it released. I
Wow.
think. And I was still in school. I was in 10th grade before I dropped out the year after that.
Yeah.
In 10th grade or something. The end of 10th grade.
Wait, you dropped out at the end of 10th grade?
Yeah, I dropped out in the beginning of 11th grade.
Oh, me too. I
Yeah.
also did.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And look at us.
Yeah. That's true. That's fucking true.
And then, yeah, so those songs were like, some of them were made in like White Armor's apartment.
Yeah.
Because he was the first one to have his own apartment, so
Right.
we were all there. Some of them I took my microphone to like Young Good's dad's place.
Yeah.
And some of them were made in the basement, but all of them in my head made sense. You know, in my head they were like, that was like the most lo-fi thing. I
Right,
guess when you
right.
look back at it, it was lo-fi and it was like just atmospheric and yeah, Sherman had those big cloudy beats and
Yeah.
I don't know, I just really need to get something out and I don't know, I do remember this weird thing. Sometimes you have a strange memory and I just remember being like on a beach on a family vacation
Yeah.
and I have a phone and I write down like Unknown Death, Unknown Memory just in my notes.
Yeah.
And then I get really fixed up on things, so
Right.
that was the two albums.
2014, he had released his first studio album, Unknown Memory, showcasing a darker, more, atmosphere, angelic sound that further expanded his influence. Over the next decade, Young Lean continued to evolve artistically, experimenting with emo rap, alternative pop, and more introspective songwriting. Despite facing personal struggles along the way, he remained a defining figure in internet-era music, inspiring a generation of artists who blended emotional vulnerability with digital aesthetics. But one problem Young Lean went through which hindered his growth that no one actually knew about was the drugs.
To the haters?
To the youth.
To the youth. Do something. Anything. Do whatever, Start a milk factory. Go make a magazine. Get a job. Draw painting. Do anything, Just have fun. Stay safe. Save sex. Save drugs. And have fun. That's it. Don't be like Uncle Lean.
So Young Lean during his early ages had experimented with the drug life incredibly and also boasted about it in his songs. He didn't have good direction and the drugs were taking a toll on his mind behind closed doors. Young Lean at his younger days was a very ignorant person and didn't want to listen to any genuine advice. As he said, during the 2014 Sad Boy Live tour, it clearly seemed that the whole squad lived life of drugs through how they carried themselves, especially on YouTube vlogs. So to cut to the chase, Young Lean and Sad Boy Life members were doing crazy drugs to a point they had to cancel a show being how gone they were, but Young Lean was far deep into them drugs than the other members apparently. It seemed like Young Lean was a bad responder to drugs or he just did crazy amounts of it. Lean would experience schizophrenia and claimed he met the devil and signed some contract. He trashed the hotel. He was just in an absolute manic episode, just losing his mind, and ended up in a hospital diagnosed with psychosis stage 1, or I think it's bipolar stage 1. But a few moments later, his friend Baron McChat died that night. And Young Lean instantly had A lot of rumors passed by him that Young Lean sacrificed him for fame. There was just a lot of speculations of what happened that day and a lot of things like that.
Oh, yeah, dude down the back.
Negatively, I'm gonna be frank, you know, like drug use is not fun. Like being addicted to opiates or anything is not fun, you know. It's a fucked up lifestyle. I wouldn't condone it. I wouldn't recommend it to anyone. But I think in the beginning, experimenting with like hallucinogens can be a way of opening up one door that was locked before. And I don't know, I think like if you try, I don't know, LSD or shrooms at least once and then never try it again, that's enough. You know, you don't have to go too hard with it. But I wouldn't tell anyone to do drugs. You know, a real musician or like a real author or whatever, they should be able to write a song about what it's like to do drugs without ever trying drugs. Like that's a real artistry, you know. Yeah.
Just about the
Wants to be, because he's made for that,
Yeah.
and he's very business savvy. And you know, and like, Kanye's mentally ill.
Yeah.
You've been there. I'm sure you have some
I've
empathy
been
for
there, and
that.
I feel
Yeah.
for him, and I think like all this stuff that he says about Jewish people. My grandfather was Jewish. I don't know. I can't defend him, but it's like it's a mentally ill person who still did Flashing Lights.
He still did great things.
Yeah, he did Flashing, and I feel like if
Do you feel
I
like
haven't seen him for a long time now because it's too much. I can't really be around it. But
it was a lot to be around. You felt it when you were around him.
I mean, when I was alone with him like 3 years ago and we just had dinner, it was lovely. It was fucking.
Yeah.
It was fun. It was like two kids sharing ideas, and he has a big heart, and you can tell that it's all good. But then, the next time I saw him, I could feel that the vibe had gone darker, and then the tweets started coming, and it was too much.
Mm-hmm.
And you have to
And-
protect yourself too, and that not just your persona, your career, your public-facing self, but because
Your
you've
wellness.
been in these sorts of
Yeah,
spirals.
exactly. I mean, the public shit, I don't really care too much about, but I just felt like, I'm being dragged into something that I've been dragged into myself, and the best thing I could do is not, make a song with this man. It's more to be like, I've been manic too, I've been psychotic, and like lithium works, like this works, but he's not gonna listen to anyone, and that's his thing. And
It's a thing we hear very often.
Yeah.
I can't be on meds because then I'm not creative.
and that's not true. Not true.
You found
at
a way
all.
to overcome that.
Yeah, and there are certain types of like bipolar antipsychotics that don't numb you down or dumb you down or take away the creativity. I mean, even when I was really manic and psychotic, I wasn't more creative. I was just more sloppy. I would do like, let's start one song here, let's book a flight to India here, let's start a painting here.
So you might have felt more creative at the moment, but then when you look back, you're like, I wasn't getting anything done.
Exactly, it's like being on a drug. Like you think you're gonna do all this cool shit, but you're not doing anything. So I do feel for him, and I know there's a great heart in there, and that's all I can say.
And do you
Everything
feel
else will just be so misconstrued these days
Yeah,
with
of
the
course.
internet and comments, because everyone wants one side or another say yes or no, but life's not that simple. It's not black and white.
Young Lean has battled with drug addiction for the longest, and even though now, he's, I guess, not as foolish as he used to be, he still admits that his brain is fucked up and can't go back to being normal again in his world, but chooses to appreciate that he realized it sooner, because imagine him having kids and still doing drugs. The kids would have been completely ruined forever, because that shit can just be ingrained and grow with you forever. So yeah, please do not do drugs. You only have one brain, and when you fry that shit off the fucking yard, you're fucked up. You're fucked up. You're not gonna be okay again. You're just gonna be fucked up. Even the way I'm hearing Young Lean talking, his pausing, and the way he takes so long to spit out a sentence, it just shows that those drugs really fucked him up. He's human, no one is perfect, but yeah, man, we cannot buy a new brain, of course, but We just wish him the best, wish him clarity with where he is, wish him a better perception of the situation he has, because all about the perception and how you view it, which will overall make you feel at peace in your life. But enough yapping, don't do drugs. Peace out.